Yo, what's good, everybody? Yo, there's been so much talk that's going around, about the new MPC Touch, and so we're gonna go into that a little bit, and a couple other things that they're talking about, that there's no, it wasn't a standalone, or there's no standalone, or things like that. So one thing. All right, all right. So here's the MPC lineup right here, from 1988 all the way up to 2012. All right, so you got to remember, most cats with the MPC 60s up to the 2000. I mean up to the 4000s, and even some of the 5000s. But let's stop at the 4000s, from the 1988 to 2002. All right, most most of the people that own those machines right there, we old school, no doubt about it. That's old school. You know what I'm saying? Uh, those machines right there were in the thousands. You know, uh, cost a lot of money. Even right now, what, the 5000 came out, it was like $3,500 when it came out. It was introduced in um '08 at the NAM event, at the Winter NAM, and it was released either later on, a few months later, or early 2009. But you know, a lot of these are old school. 2008, that was like 7 years ago. That's, as far as technology is concerned, that is a long time. It's forever ago. So we can't sit back and expect too much from Akai to be trying to send updates for a unit that's 7 years old. You know, um, I'm pretty sure they try to hit some things, but they can't with technology. You got Native Instruments, you got all these, you got Newmark, you got all these companies coming in, making new products, adding new chipsets, new processors, uh, you know, all these different things that changed over the years. They really don't have time to keep going back, because then if they did that, the people with the 5000 would be complaining. The people with the 2500 will be complaining. The people with the 2000 XL will be asking for, like, it's just going forever and ever. Like, they're focused on people that don't have MPCs. That's the focus. The focus is not on a MPC 5000. You already own it. They don't make no more money. Once you own it, they don't make no more money off of it. You own it now. They got their money. They, years ago, 7 years ago. They're not trying to work off no money from 7 years ago. They trying to get that new money. The Ren, what? It's 3 years now. The Ren's been out. That's kind of old. It is about time they came out with something, and it is about time that they changed. They did away with that screen that from damn near 1988. Like, they held on to it for a long time. It's not bad. It's simple. It's straight to the point. But as time goes on, like I said, other companies come out with their machines, and their machines are changed. And we have to, in Akai, I say we, but Akai has to do the same thing. They can't sit back and just let other companies make new product, new technology, and then they just updating the old things from 7 years ago. That is not business. That's bad business. They can't. It's just like clothes. Nobody's rocking ponies or kangaroos anymore. Like, you gotta. There's a few old school cats. You know what I'm saying? And a couple. There might be one or two young cats that heard about it and want to try it. But as far as this music game, these kids these days, these younger adults, they want the newer technology. They don't want to sit there with floppy disk and zip drives. Can't. I mean, you know, and to make a standalone, like, all right, all right, so, yeah. Let's get into the standalone part of it. All right, these were all good standalone machines. But did you really ever really, besides the 500, did you ever really have it standing alone? It was always used. It's plugged up into the wall, except for the 500. But the 500 was, to me, it was it was whack. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I seen like one person ever with it, and that was it. But you always either had it. You always in any of the other units, you had them plugged into the wall, hooked up. You had quarter-inch cables hooked to something, to some speakers or something. It was standalone, but it wasn't standalone. I don't know if you understand if you know what I'm talking about. You know, with the Ren or with the MPC Studio, they're not standalone, but if I put the MPC Studio in a bag with my laptop, I'm good. Like, I got access to the internet. I got access to gigs and gigs, of sounds. If I'm, with any of the other with any of the other units, if you took it out and you was in a park or something, or wherever you guys are talking about, you want to stand alone so you can make beats in the park or at the beach and stuff like that. You're not gonna have access to being able to, think of a sample and go get it right in the spot, unless you have a laptop or something, something with you. So and those machines were pretty heavy. They were pretty big. You know, besides the 1000 wasn't that bad. The 500, of course, like I said, in the 2500, they weren't they weren't that crazy, but at the same time, you got the MPC Studio, or with the MPC Touch coming out, and your laptop was basically lighter than all those. It wasn't. It is not heavy. Laptops don't weigh really nothing anymore. So like sometimes, like I said, a lot of us are old school. A lot of older ones that's probably even gonna comment on this and want something that's a standalone, or talking about they want to be able to use the MPC 500 or the 2000 or the 4000 hook to the soft. Come on, we're old school. You know what I'm saying? Like, the music nowadays is different from when we were making. Is different. Just like when our parents were young, the music that we were growing up to, that we was listening to, is different. And before them, it's just the times. Times change, and we can reminisce and try to make those old school beats, and with a little new. But this is not this is not our time. This is a different generation's time. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I accept it with the beats that they make now. I make some beats like that. If I gotta make beats with rolling hi-hats and things like that, then I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna roll with the punches. You got to. You can't be sitting up here. How many of us got a regular house phone? Most people most of us nowadays got just a cell phone. Don't even use the house phone. House phone ring, everybody looking at each other like, who's calling this phone? Not too many people have a house phone. Most of us have a cell phone. So, and I don't want to ramble, too much. I'm just trying to I'm really trying to cover everything before I sign off. And so, all right, so the MPC Touch that's coming out, brilliant. And people are, of course, people are saying, there's a couple people I've seen that said it's not an MPC. It's gonna feel like, trust me, they're gonna make it so that you feel like you're on an MP. You know, the MP usually, Akai is usually pretty good at making you feel like you're on that you're on that same product, but at the same time they have to change. They have to change. They have to make moves and and roll with not basically roll with everybody else, but at least keep up. You know what I'm saying? You can't fall too back, because if they fall back too much, you're gonna have the newer generation complaining and buying machines, a Native Instrument machines, and not buying Akai products. So Akai, they have to put that wow factor in there. The touchscreen. Who doesn't have an iPhone or an Android with a touchscreen? Who doesn't have an Android tablet or an iPad? The touchscreen is where it's at right now, and they have to, you got to keep up with that. Just like a sneaker store, you got to have you got to be able to have the new Jordans. If Jordans come out and you don't have the new Jordans, you ain't gonna have no people lined up overnight for no old kicks that's not. I mean, of course, we're talking about, you know, I know when they release Jordans, of course, I'm just using metaphors, but when they release the Jordans and they be the old ones that just coming out. If you don't have those, nobody's lining up at your store overnight for nothing. For nothing. They want them old classic Jordans and stuff like that, or they want, what I'm saying? That's new, that's coming out. So you got to keep up with the latest, latest things that are coming out. And I don't even know if using the Jordans as a example is even, if you understand what I'm saying. I mean, I guess you kind of do. You got to have that new product out. You can't be. They're not going to roll out the MPC, the MPC 60, and expect people to run out and be going, and buy it. We as old cats, knew what that 60 did and knew what it sounded like, so it's kind of different. But you go to somebody and you bring it, you trying to sell that to some kids and you bring out them old floppies, man, come on. They're going to be like, yo, nah, I want the Ren or the MPC Touch, something new, something that they can just, and it's like, same with record labels. A lot of record labels are closing down now. Studios are getting smaller. They used to have the boards that used to stretch out 10, 20 feet. They went from that to damn near no boards on the desk. And they went from racks and racks and racks of modules and sound effects, to plugins. So we have to embrace the newer technology. And if you have the old school, not knocking the old school shit, I had most of the old school, the old school MPs, so, but I'm one of those people that when a new thing comes out, I want to be with the new. I don't want to be stuck, not necessarily stuck, but with the old. And I'm not no crazy, producer that making a lot of money off of making beats. I mostly do it for fun. I do mostly engineering, but making beats, I like making beats. When I sell some, or if I sell some, so be it. If not, then it doesn't matter to me. I make whack beats. Sometimes I make good beats. Sometimes the beats are okay. Sometimes they're not. But I'm enjoying myself. It's making a little money off of it. I'm cool with that. So let's just embrace the new, and you know what I'm saying, and just move on.